This is Hard Knocks Talks.
Adam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for making the trip.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say before we jump in?
No, I'm just very grateful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope through this conversation we can shed some light on men's mental health and hopefully save a life.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada.
Did you grow up around a lot of chaos? Was there chaos in the home?
Oh, yeah.
And what did that look like?
Oh, well, I remember in my early life, like being like 9, is when I first started really understanding my mom had a problem with alcohol. And my dad had left the home. And I remember feeling like, I have an autistic brother as well. I was growing up myself, but also having to kind of oversee what was happening with him because we were alone a lot of the time in the home. During the week, we would come home and find mom on the floor in our front foyer, naked. It's like my dad owned a trucking business in Langley. I think my mom had a different idea about what my dad was giving. And I think when she found out that it wasn't rainbows and, you have to run a business and you can't be vacationing all the time or, I think that kind of put a riff in things, in my opinion. And then when they split the first time and then mom got a boyfriend and then mom got another boyfriend, but we were going back and forth a lot. And, during those times, I feel it was, my mom was in her mid 30s, my age now. And she was full blow, man. It was crazy. She had her girlfriends that were at the house all the time. They're smoking and drinking wine and, partying and doing their thing. And, some of us kids that, my mom's friend had 2 daughters and they would be at the house all the time. And it was just kind of us. And we would, it was it.
So did you look forward to going to mom's house because it was more exciting?
No. Dad's was way cooler.
Yeah.
I was the overweight kid that got picked on a lot in elementary school. Then coming home and dealing with an alcoholic mother that I didn't really understand.
Did your mom's lifestyle play a role in your life going sideways?
I think she wanted to be a parent for the security of having children, that my dad would be there for her and like monetarily. Basically, for myself, I was victimized from, basically kindergarten to grade 5. There's tapes of me, at school and like actually seeing the kids bully me on the tapes. Very emotional to watch. Like I remember watching it with like my wife and kids, and I was like, and my wife was like mortified. She's like, wow, like that's crazy that you did that in like grade 4. And then grade 6 came, and actually my cousin showed me rap music. So she gave me a cassette, and it was Tupac's Hail Mary on it. And I had a cassette player she gave me, and I went to middle school, and my persona changed. I had an attitude. I was aggressive. I was very defiant. It was a perfect storm. Mom is an alcoholic at home, kind of concerned about her own life. Dad's running a business. The 2 parents, when they get together and are cordial, it's about my brother. So Adam is basically left to figure things out on his own. So grade 8, October, I got expelled for, I don't even really remember, but the story is that I broke a ruler over a kid's head. So I got sent to this school called Ioko Road, basically the worst of the worst in school district 43. This is kind of when I had started learning about graffiti and stealing cars and, obviously certain other things in life, money-making tools and certain things. And, to hang out in the back, you used to have to get punched in the arm by everybody out back 5 times. And it was like, whatever, that was just the thing you did. And it was jail politics from a very young age. You had to learn fast, and then from Ioko, I got expelled from there.
Wow. What'd you do to get expelled?
I had a Smith & Wesson replica pellet gun, like a CO2 pellet gun. I brought it to school and just thinking I was cool. And I told a kid about it. I was like, yo, like I got a pellet gun I brought, and we can go shoot cans after school or something, right? And the guy ratted me out. So so at that school, if you got in trouble or you were like being, whatever, if you're having a moment, their disciplinary was go run a lap. That was their thing. Go take a lap. And I remember they're like, hey, Boyd, go take a lap. Right?
Because of the pellet gun.
Yeah. And I got tackled by Port Moody police.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they're like, where's the gun? I was like, what gun? But they found it because the kid ratted me out.
Yeah.
And so I got expelled for that.
Where'd you go?
They sent me to another school called Cabby a year later. I got expelled from there for fighting. And then I went to a school in New West called Purpose, which was another alternative program, but in the city of New West. From there, I left school. I would have been about 15. And I left home at that time and I moved to Surrey with a friend of mine. And him and another guy were living out there. They were doing some activities. And I was like, yo, I need a place to stay. They're like, come out. You can stay with us. And they had an old Cutlass, 86 Cutlass. And they came and picked me up from Gateway SkyTrain station. And and then kind of life went from there.
So they were selling stuff?
Yeah, I get, and then that didn't last long. It was like we were there for a few months. They were there longer than I was. And then we left due to, I think there was an outstanding bill.
They didn't pay their rent.
Sure, we'll go that way. And yeah.
Oh, they didn't pay their tax.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there was an outstanding bill there. And they left 3 months later. This wasn't correlated to what happened, but my friend's family was killed in a house bombing.
A house bombing?
Yeah. So they, a gentleman had Molotov cocktailed the house and killed my friend's mother, his brother, 2 sisters, and the girlfriend.
They don't do that for no reason.
Well, I don't know I was very young at that time. I don't remember the story. I remember being in the house the night before it happened.
Wow.
I remember we met, all of us met up there and did like a Super Bowl style party. I think I brought chips, like all the other kids had beer. The next day I got a message from my friend Marty and he said, did you hear what happened? I said, no. And they said the house is gone and he was burned. He got 3rd-degree burns all over his body and he's still alive. I don't know where he is now. And that was like my first tragic, oh my God, experience, right? And so the story that I had heard later on in life was that there was a house party before and I guess the kid who did it had gotten beaten up at the house party and then he came back and did it. It was it was a very the correlation of us leaving Surrey and that happening was just the time.
Coincidence.
100%.
Okay.
And from what I remember, the kid that got pinched and that did that, he got Mr. Bigged in it. Do you know what a Mr. Big is?
No.
So it's where law enforcement will pertain to be, crime figures or, some sort of whatever, some,
undercover.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Cops pretending to be, gangsters or whatever. And they'll do drug deals in front of you and they'll do weird stuff. And then it makes you feel comfortable. And then I think the kid admitted to it during the Mr. Big sting. And that's how he got pinched.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but that's a serious occurrence. So the firebombing is, but now there's undercover cop stuff going on in your peripherals.
Sure.
And you're just eating chips.
Yeah.
And just sitting there.
Well, no, it had happened and I was went on with my life a different way. And but that was happening and that's life, I guess.
So were you engaging in any of these activities as well?
Not firebombing houses. No. Jesus.
Yeah.
No. So I'm no school. I just have friends of mine that I truly, really did die. I had another friend of mine who kind of helped me school me. His name was Michael, and he was older than me. He passed away. He got shot in Whistler in 2007, and we lost him there. So that was brutal. That was my childhood.
Yeah.
Life kind of went its course. I became a dad in 2009. my oldest son, Michael, was born then. From there, I found myself still kind of engaging in certain activities that, you know, society wouldn't deem as normal to make money. And from there, it put me into Prince George, where I was there for a few months. And I was arrested in Prince George, and I ended up spending 11 and a half months of my life in jail for a crime I didn't commit. I was, like I said, we were involved in some, you know, there's whatever. I was from Coquitlam, Lower Mainland, going up to Prince George once a week. So I'll let you take what you want out of that. So from there, I was sent up to Prince George, where I spent 36 days in confinement. And then I was put on a special handling unit for 9.5 months. And I was, you know, it was, I was, the media and law enforcement said that I was an alleged associate of a certain motorcycle club. I mean, hey man, I can't help who I have grown up around. Like I said, I'm very grateful for my relationships. So we were 11 and a half months. I was denied bail 3 times under the tertiary ground through the bail conditions for the province and Supreme Court. Basically, you know, the grounds for bail are quite simple in Canada. It's, are you a flight risk? Are you a danger to reoffend? Those are 1 and 2. Tertiary ground is the hardest one. And it's, will it be a public outcry if you're released on bail? So 21 years old, I've never been convicted of a crime in British Columbia or in Canada. The RCMP had their own opinions about me in Prince George, but again, that's the RCMP's opinions, not mine. During trial, day 6, there was a time where the complainant was on the stand, and she was asked, after this alleged assault had took place and you're on the couch and everyone has gone to bed, there was chains on the door. She's like, no. Okay. And someone was guarding the door, obviously, because we were charged with forceful confinement, right? That was one of the charges. And she goes, no. She's like, okay. But you weren't allowed to leave the door. Oh, no, I could have left. I was just on my phone on the couch. So my lawyer, God rest her soul, Patricia Connor, she died a few years ago. But she stands up and she says, Your Honor, and the Crown, I remember the Crown going like this. She's like, oh. And they had a quick little discussion, the Crown in my case. And she said, we're withdrawing the forceful confinement charge, Your Honor. And we're agreeing to their release on their own recognizance. So during my bail hearings, where I was denied on justice of the peace, provincially and through the Supreme Court, I took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And my parents were willing to put their house up for a surety, $1 million home at that time. They said no. We even agreed to an ankle monitor. They said no. So, and then to go, and then, you know, day 6 of trial to be released on our own recognizance was like, okay. And then 2 months later, we were found not guilty on the other 3 charges. Yeah. Wow. But, I mean, that whole thing kind of ruined my life for a long time. Yeah. You know, when you're perceived as someone as like a deviant, and someone who is a predator of sorts, when you're not, it's truly, I mean, like defamation of character to the end. Yeah. Brutal. People were making defamation slander against my own children, calling my sons retarded mongoloids, you know, like saying very cruel things to not only myself, which is all bullshit anyway, you know, to this day, where that happened in 2011. I was found not guilty 2012. I've never been asked about it other than in respects to my paperwork being shown by certain individuals. You know, Prince George, the school bullshit, you know, and then watching my dad deteriorate from esophageal cancer was quite, I mean, that's a whole nother thing about how, you know, him and I did not get along from when I was 14 on, and then he died August 9th, 2014. So, you know, I was able to get 6 months of a father that was dying, but we made amends during that 6 months. You know, like he would, you know, I was lazy to him. I didn't want to work. You know, I didn't want to be involved in the trucking industry. I wanted easy money. I wanted to be lazy. I wanted to do certain things. And he was set against it. This is a guy that worked his whole life and never
broke the law, never.
No, maybe sped, didn't wear a seatbelt.
Yeah.
You know, you know, maybe he swore at the people at the scales and Hope a little too much, right? But at his funeral, somebody read that there was a note at the Hope scale to speak to Mr. Boyd with extreme caution because he can be quite vulgar with his language. Somebody told a story about that at his service. But you know, when he died, I mean, like I you know, obviously I've been used to seeing people pass away in my life. It's kind of been a normal occurrence. But you know, when he fell and I went to pick him up and he went limp, changed my life. Hearing him choke and die on his own. What had happened was he had a blood clot in the leg. And I guess he had stopped taking his pills, the blood thinners, and the blood clot had let go. So the pulmonary embolism, they called it. So in his lung. So, you know, it was quite, it was terrible, you know. And I was planning to get married that day, and instead we had a wake, you know. And yeah, and then I got into the car business in 2016. And a gentleman who I had worked with previous in 2013 at another Chrysler store, my buddy Stuart, he had enjoyed a cocktail, and he had said, "Oh, Boyd," they call me Boydie at work, Boydie, right? And they'd say, "Oh, let's go for a drink, buddy." And I'm like, "I'm not really a drinker, buddy, you know." And he said, "Oh, I'll come have a beer." And I thought, "Fuck it, I'll go have a beer." And you know, we had drinks, and I liked the feeling of being drunk
for the first time.
Yeah. Like I never drank in my youth. You know, I had a beer, and then we had another beer, and then we had a shot, and then, you know, this is before I was I wasn't an alcoholic yet. So I got the job in this like boiler room style, which is very aggressive, but it's a business style aggression that I never knew. All I knew was street politics and street life. So like when someone would call me a piece of shit in a car dealership, I'd get instantly enraged, right? And I was taught like you can't handle your problems being aggressive in the business sense. So I had to completely learn a different tool of understanding my emotions, where alcohol became a tool for me for a long time, because I'd be frustrated, and instead of snapping or, you know, yelling or doing the fight or flight routine, I'd just go to the bar and I would drink, and people were nice to me. That kind of led on to being like almost a barfly in Mission, where I lived for years. There was 2 pubs. I think I'm still banned at now, but I only got banned last year. But so I started drinking, and it's, you know, social. And then it's like, okay, we're drinking 2 days a week. Okay, cool. Now we're going 3. Now we're going out on Fridays and Saturdays. And then, you know, we got football Saturday afternoon with the kids, and then, you know, maybe lacrosse. And then, you know, Monday, you're shaking it rough a bit, and then you start drinking in the afternoon, evening. And then before you know it, it's every day. And you're 5 years later. So what had happened was I started then when I'd have a shitty month in the car business, because it happens. And I mean, that shakes you up.
Yeah.
So then what happens is you go to the casino, and you learn games like Baccarat, which I did. And, but what would happen is now I'm learning that same, "Hey, how you doing? You're welcome," in the casino that I learned in the pub. So what's happened now is I'm learning that, hey, if I spend money here, I'm basically buying a life for myself where I feel included. But really, I'm not included. I'm a fucking gambling addict. Any way I can get money, borrowing it from my friends, ruining relationships, you know, stealing whatever just to go out and gamble.
So you're stealing.
100%.
Like, what does that look like? What are you going and like boosting catalytic converters, or like,
A little big,
like
a little big to be a cat burglar.
I was thinking that as I was saying it, but
no, more of borrowing from friends, paying interest on loans, like doing not like loan shark things, but just borrowing money to gamble. Pawning a watch. I probably pawned my dad's Rolex 20 times. Yeah, I mean, I would go where it would be like, I need a quick $3,000, and then I go to the casino and I'd win 20, and then I'd lose it in a heartbeat, like legit, within.
So you never cashed out?
Never. No, it's always one more, right? Always. Because what I would do is now I'm internalizing in my mind, okay, well, the rent's paid now, but now we got to pay the car payment. Okay, now we need groceries. Okay, maybe the kid wants a PS5. I want to buy a new watch. I want to do this. It's one more bet, one more bet, one more bet, one more drink. Before you know it, you're down $50,000. Right? So that's kind of what would happen. And then I would go and, I'd go with like even my friend Terry will say this, where, I'd be down to $100 and go up to $15,000 in a matter of 15 minutes. And she'd be like, bro, like, let's bounce. And I'd be like, okay, but I'm hammered, so I'm not listening. And then all of a sudden she'd be like, okay, I'm going pee, and then we're leaving. I'm like, all right, cool. And then she'd come back and I'd have $500. And she'd be, what the fuck did you just do? And I'd be completely blitzed and not even caring about the money.
So then what?
Well, I would go home, and then I would be, a depressed mess. I remember, crying in my car numerous times at the casino, screaming, fucking idiot, you did it again. You know what I mean? Driving, I lived in Mission at the time, and I'd be driving from Coquitlam to Mission. So that's, a good 35 minutes, intoxicated. Then I would go home and, I would lie about the fact that, she would need money for something. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll get it for you tomorrow. And then I'd go to work and try to get an advance. And then, I'd be behind the ball 30 days. What would spiral now is like, I'm now learning, okay, get up, go to work, and then 12 lunchtime, go to the bar, and then just get pickled at the bar, and then go back to work, not do anything, and then leave and go back home and then do it all again. Or sell something, or, get paid and go to work, or borrow money from my mom or something like that, where I would be like, hey, like what, but it would just continue. Like, it was just brutal. But the feelings of wanting to die didn't really come until 2022. Losing my hustle for the car business truly put me into like just like a terrible way, where I had, I had battled with the weight. I was about 540 pounds at the time. I was always kind of struggling with it. I'd get on Atkins. I'd try this keto diet. I'd try this. I'd try that. I'm still drinking alcohol. I got a dog in 2018 that I kind of learned how to like train dogs with that, but I was also still drinking every day. I used to start work on the 15th of the month. I would come in on the 15th and work to the 30th. And, I would make a month in 15 days, which, a lot of people can't do. But that was because in the beginning of the month, I was, still partying from the last month's commission, and I would go bother Darcy for another advance. And I'd say, I'm going to make it, like, just lend me the money. And he would, right? And I mean, that would, pay my rent, or, going more to the casino, going more into debt. And then, you have a really good month, and then you're flush, and then you're broke again. And then, it was just a cycle. So my wife and I had, we've always kind of battled back and forth, and we had ended up where she had gotten on a weight loss drug, and she lost a bunch of weight. She met some new girls at school, and she had, I kind of felt like she was kind of moving on with her life a little. We didn't have our daughter yet. It was kind of, I felt like it was ending, right? It was, obviously. And then I ended up, through that, like, we were very disconnected for a long time, and I ended up meeting another woman, And that woman and I, I thought was like, oh, this is great. This is the bend all. This is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up that where I went down a path where that was like heavy alcohol use, heavy. I wasn't being a parent anymore. I was, away from the kids. I was, spending more time with this person who was, recently out of a divorce and very, she was sick too at that time. And then I went to live at this woman's house for a few months. And then from there, it was I was in the pub every day. I wasn't working anymore. And then COVID hit. And then 6 months later, I broke my back, fell out of our pool, drunk. And I didn't walk for like a year. So that's when I went up to 600 pounds. She had 2 kids. I had 3 at the time. So there's 5 children that knew each other. The families knew each other. So it's a small town in Mission. So like the community knew about it and our associations with sports. So it was like a big clusterfuck, right? And being so overweight, certain things were starting to fail. Like I was having severe palpitations all the time. My legs were swelling. I was tired all the time. COVID, the 3rd time I got it, almost took me out. And then, and then the back and forth with this woman. And then I was like, fuck, man, I'm done. Like I want to die.
Did you make a plan?
Yeah, I did. I remember my wife went to a wedding that I was supposed to go to, and her and I weren't getting along at all. And she had a bunch of pills. They're like, I don't know what kind of pills. They're like antipsychotics or something. And then I had like a bottle of whiskey, believe it or not. And I don't drink whiskey. I'm a vodka guy. And but I just couldn't take the pills for some reason. I just couldn't do it. And I ended up passing out. And then I started drinking again. I went and bought like, I think 2 for a beer, and I drank 20 beers in like 3 hours or something. And then, I'd get in a cab, and then I'd go down to the bar, and, I'd go into the bathroom and fall on the floor and, just be a sloppy mess and, not thinking about anything. And I would just continue of like, I don't want to live anymore. I was struggling financially. Like I had no money. I was 640 pounds. I was severely depressed in my life. I didn't feel like a present parent anymore. I couldn't fucking walk, man. And
640 pounds, that's exceptional.
100%.
That's, yeah.
And I'm still moving around, drinking like a fish,
eating.
Oh, I like
spending more on food than on whiskey.
Yeah.
Or on vodka.
Yeah. No, the booze, I think my bar bill's like, if we look back, anywhere from 150 to 300 a day.
Yeah. And that's food and.
That's just booze. In the bar.
Yeah.
And that's not before I went into the bar. You stop and get a couple of big cans, shotgun them, throw the cans away, and then you go in.
And this is your everyday.
Every day.
This isn't a Friday night.
No.
Okay.
No. The Friday night would have been in like 2017.
Yeah. Well, so what did that, like when you were in that, you're weighing that much, you're eating, you're in the bar like it's Friday night every day of the week.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? Like, are you trying to drink yourself to death?
100%.
And you knew that?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay. Because some people don't understand that. They don't know that they're like, and then they end up with cirrhosis and shit.
Yeah, no. I wanted to die.
Okay.
100%. I've been a hypochondriac my whole life since I was 12, and through therapy I learned why. And it was because the only time that I got any emotional nurturing from my mom was when I was sick. So I put 2 and 2 together as I got older, where I think I have cancer, or I think I have a bad heart, or I have a tumor. So it was December 12th, 2024. My middle son Maverick and I were in Port Coquitlam for a lacrosse game. It was a Sunday evening, and I went to we were going to go see my mom because because with my brother and my mom's addiction that's gone rampant now, like she's in the hospital right now. It's brutal. I wanted Crystal to be in charge of my brother. So because I had a plan to kill myself, right? Like my mom has a house and, my brother needs to be looked after. So I kind of thought, putting Crystal in charge of that, I could just walk away and go die somewhere and she would be taken care of. Didn't work out like that, obviously, thank God. But that was the mindset. And so we went up there to see my mom because we had been going to the lawyer on that Monday to sign the papers for Hudson to be, it's called a rep agreement in BC, and it's basically like you're a representative of this person. And but we were going to have Crystal and my mom in charge of something, and then my mom had a stroke. So we got to the house and my kid went into the living room and my mom was like convulsing, like sweating, but like panting, sitting in her chair, right? And Maverick was like, "Grandma, you all right?" And she's like, "I don't know." And I looked at her, I was like, "Are you all right?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Okay." So I called, my kid called the ambulance while I was getting things prepared. Paramedics showed up. They took her to Eagle Ridge Hospital. From Eagle Ridge Hospital, she had some internal bleeding and she needed 6 blood. She almost died. She needed 6 blood transfusions. She had 2 strokes and they moved her to Royal Columbian. And then from there, she was in like an intensive care thing for like 2 weeks. From there, I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I'm still drinking. I'm not really gambling anymore because I didn't have the money, but I'm still using alcohol.
Couldn't beg, borrow, and steal anymore?
No, absolutely not. That was over. And so I just said to Crystal, I said, "Listen," I'm like, "we have one chance here." I'm like, "We tried to move Hudson to Mission. It worked, but then me and you didn't work. He had to go back to Coquitlam. And really, we have one more shot here to make this work." She says, "Okay." So we moved to my mother's house. It was like January 10th. I remember drinking. I bought a 40 of Stolies and I was like, "I'm not even getting drunk anymore, man. I'm half a 40 in. My skin's bloated. I can barely walk. I'm huffing and puffing going up the stairs. I can't put my socks on. Can't tie my shoes. Even being hygienically clean was a fucking task." Okay. I probably could have been on my 600-pound life for sure.
Well, you were.
Yeah, I know.
You were
I was
there, yeah.
Sure. And I remember that January 12th, I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm done." I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I have a very, like, one of my best friends, his name is Brandon. He's a musician. He goes by Savage Banks. And we were talking about doing putting ourselves out there, right? He gave me the opening to be able to write my feelings where then he could write it into music and he wasn't scared to sing in front of people, And, from there, January 13th was it. And I started taking Ozempic then. I was already hooked up with the doctor. And, studies are showing now that it helps people with addictions, right? Because
it wasn't known then?
No.
Okay.
No, or I didn't know it at least. A friend of mine who...
So anybody who might not know, Ozempic is a weight loss drug.
Yeah, it was built for people with diabetes to keep your, your blood sugar in check. I'm not a diabetic, not good, and I hope to never be one. Luckily with my health, I've been very lucky to have really good genetics, because, I've been severely overweight for life and I'm pretty good other than, a screwed up back now due to my own stupidity.
Warrior Mentality, empowering individuals to conquer their inner battles through resilience, self-discovery, and personal growth. Embrace your journey and transform struggles into strength with Warrior Mentality. To learn more, find their link in the show notes.
Wellness News, Choice for Healthy Living, is a local resource that works to connect people to health and wellness-related products, services, and expert advice from industry professionals, locally allowing us to connect and engage. Check out wellnessnews.ca or skwellnesshub.ca today to learn more. If you'd like to see our content uncensored, we are now offering channel memberships. There is a lot of things we can't show you without getting restricted, so if you want the full conversation or to check out our merch, or if you want to show us some love and buy us a coffee, all of those links are in the show notes below.
Yeah, so I got sober then, and then it was a challenge because what happened now is like I left home at 15. I'm now 35. I'm back in my family home. My dad's gone. I'm a parent now of 4. I have an autistic brother. My mom is dying. My marriage is over, but you know, I mean, like it's just been turmoil, but we had to do what we had to do for the kids and for ourselves. And, you know, her and I's relationship now has grown into like, I feel like I truly have a friend again.
What started to come to light? Like, what set you on an actual healing journey?
I wanted to figure out my childhood, and that's kind of where these tapes came into place. I found like a bag of cassettes that I had transferred into a USB, like I said. And, you know, I had learned that, you know, we all have a hurt little kid in us, right? We all have that little boy or little girl in us is hurting, and it's due to traumas from physical, mental, sexual abuse, whatever. It's there, it's present. And when you don't heal it as a child and you go through life and you go through other avenues of things where basically, you know, life is about living as a child, and then all of a sudden you get 100 things pelted at you and you're living and you're raw dawing life, as I call it. And then all of a sudden you learn, oh, fuck, I can have a drink and it takes the edge off. Oh, I can smoke a joint, it takes the edge off. Oh, I can do a bump, takes the edge off. Oh, okay, well, fuck, I don't have to feel anymore. I can just kind of coast. Problem with coasting is that you're going to crash.
You don't grow either.
Ever. You get worse. You go down. And I mean, I feel for myself now, like I've been very blessed to have very influential people in my life take a liking to me. The men in my life that are, you know, they're predominant men, and in this country, in the United States as well. But I've never felt love and like respect from anything in my life other than guys like this, ever. And, you know, I'm so grateful that like these men never turned their back on me like my own family did, because it changed my life and it saved my life. You know, and it's crazy because I talk to my friend every day who's going through some pretty serious court stuff right now, and we talk about the Bible and we talk about psychology, you know, and he teaches me these things, and I'm like, it's such an honor to be able to learn these things and to be taught from someone with wisdom like that, because, you know, all I ever craved in life was someone to love me. And it's like, now I have that on a full front, and it just feels, there's not a better feeling I can express to you. And I got that with being sober.
So what are some of the things that your mentors and your friends have said to you that really clicked, that really helped you turn a corner?
That not everyone's going to like you. That was a big one. And just get used to it, because that was a big thing of my life. I was always trying to fulfill everybody's cup, and mine was depleted. So learning that everyone's not going to like you was a big thing for me. That's like, if I think back to like what was like a light bulb, because as soon as I heard those words, I was like, okay. And then being myself. When you consider what yourself is and you look at yourself, what do you think it is? We don't know.
How can you be that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Just be yourself. That's a very broad statement.
100%.
Yeah. When someone who hasn't been themselves, like
ever.
So for people that have lived in addiction for so long, like the person holding the bottle, that's who you are.
Yeah.
You know, the drunk person, that's who you are. So to be yourself is to do that.
Right.
And that's what we think, at least.
Right.
So when you take that away, when you take that identity away,
Yeah.
you're left with a void. So be what? Be the void?
Right.
You know?
Well, you learn to live in the void, and then the void becomes
You.
That's right. 100%. And that's what happened. So I started writing.
Like journaling or like writing for music?
Journaling.
Okay.
I've co-written a few songs.
Yeah.
You know, I love them. I've directed some music videos. I really love to do that. You know, going back to my children, we have an Instagram account that, you know, we've gotten over 400 million views in 12 months due to their viral videos. My kids do, you know, pretty outrage. I mean, we're raising boys, right? So they're riding a wagon down a hill with no helmets on. They do backflips off the train bridge into the river, you know, the creek, sorry. You know, there's one video of my son Memphis on a rope swing that smokes a tree, and he falls into a lake.
So these are beautiful memories, and it's funny that you're like, it's good that you're saying these things, and that you're just participating in your kids' life.
Yeah.
Like you're there, you know, and you know, a lot of people would be like, oh, don't jump into the creek, or oh,
Sure.
don't swing on that rope, you might hit a tree, or
Sure.
oh, don't go about the wagon and down the hill and stuff like that. And I think it takes a man, like it takes, and I'm going to probably get crucified for saying that, but
I appreciate it. Thank you.
but yeah, but
Thank you for that.
It does. It takes a man to allow children, allow boys to do dangerous things carefully. Right? How can you teach people to be in the world if you don't allow them to do dangerous things carefully? And to be there to help them if things go a little sideways. Like your friend, your son hit a tree.
Yeah.
You know,
Two of them did. They did, yeah.
Yeah.
The only tree in a whole park. Got 154 million views.
Yeah. And how did they come out of it? Did they get hurt?
No.
No.
They were fine. They laughed. They're laughing in the video when they hit the tree.
Yeah.
Then the wagon falls over and they get out and they're chuckling.
Yeah. And for you to bring awareness to the views in a way that's like, okay, well, this isn't necessarily about attention, but this could turn into a career. This level of visibility will serve them well if they do dangerous things carefully.
Sure.
Being on Instagram is a dangerous thing.
It is.
If you do that dangerous thing carefully, it can change your life.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do, they can bring awareness to it to a wide audience very quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they can.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you've only been sober like 10 months now.
It'd be 10 in October 13th.
What was it like coming back into your kids' lives?
Emotional, you know.
Did they trust you right away?
No.
What did that feel like?
I don't even think my oldest son does yet to this day. It's my biggest regret in life was leaving the home. Well, my wife, Crystal gave me the boot. She's like, get out. You're done, right? And
you played a part. Your signature's on that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, 100%. My middle son, my youngest son, like I think my middle guy kind of gets it, but he still doesn't. But my oldest son, I see the resentment now, 100%, and I don't think he'll ever lose it. And
forever's a long time.
Yeah, but it's not in me to change that. He's a man. His dad fucked up. I have to own it, live with it. I did fuck up huge, right? You know, it is like, and it happened. Dad was an idiot, but
now Dad's back.
Yeah, better than ever.
Yeah.
And I'm as sensitive as I am. I'm the strongest I've ever been in my life. Like mentally, you know, physically, you know, emotionally, like, you know, I posted a video on my birthday this year, July 31st, of a video that I took July 30th, 2024. And that was like rock bottom for me. I'm living in a trailer in the outskirts of Mission.
Alone.
Yeah. I had been kicked out of the girl's house I was living with. I rented a trailer.
Why'd you get kicked out?
Because my wife was like coming by her house and kicking the mirror off my car. She was she was very angry, and I don't blame her at all. She was choked, and she dumped all my personal belongings all over my car.
Is there any other pinnacle moments in the past 10 months that you'd like to share with us that were like positive or painful, or like what were some big stepping stones for you that brought you here today?
Learning, being okay with who Adam is.
Mm-hmm.
Adam is sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Adam is loving. Adam is caring. Adam has a lot of trauma that needs to be healed. And
Getting to know Adam.
Mm-hmm. Soothing the 9-year-old Adam, learning now that what happened to me as a child doesn't define me as an adult anymore. My mom was sick. She's still sick now. I'm not the reason she's sick, When I got in trouble in Prince George, she was there. She helped me with the lawyer. She came to visit me.
Yeah.
She brought Crystal up there. When the cops came to the house looking for my vest, and my mom told them to fucking kick rocks.
Vest.
Yeah, the RCMP thought that I was in a club of some sorts, which I wasn't.
So they were looking for your cut.
Sure.
Yeah. So is there any other nuggets that you've experienced that people have told you, or that you've noticed in the last 10 months that you think would help someone else to hear?
Don't be afraid to speak how you feel. And if you can't speak it, write it. Get your memo book in your iPhone or your Android. Write your feelings. There's AI things now that you can put your feelings into it and ask it to help you, guide you, to teach you with your feelings. Do that. Why not?
Yeah.
I think with men, there's a real disconnect with being emotional, because we have this idea that man has to be strong and solid and do that without having emotion. And it's wrong, because a true man has emotion.
Takes more strength to have emotion than it does to try and hide it.
Well, straight up, because when you're hiding it, you're faking the funk. It's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys that put on this face all the time that they're serious and they're all business and whatever, that's false. Reality is that we've gone through things in our life that we need to heal, and we heal that through ourselves, and we heal that through doing the work, and we do that by holding our own self accountable. I wouldn't be the same guy I would be if I had, gotten shit-faced last night in the casino, or like back home in BC, I'm not allowed to gamble. They don't allow me in the casinos anymore due to this other alleged association that I have. Right? I showed you the letter. But that's the province of the, city where I live, man. They have their ideas about who I am, and I'm a father. I'm somebody who, didn't have an honest shot at the system that they showed through school. The people that I was put around also went through hardships that no one cared about. They fed us, they made sure that we were safe, and that was it. 3/4 of the people I went to school with are dead. A couple of the guys that are still alive, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn in saying that I, have made it out of that school, the scholar of 25 children or 30 kids, I think we are all on our own journey to live our own life. And I feel like emotions of being honest and true to yourself will set you free. And it's okay to be judged, because even like the man upstairs was judged, and it's okay to have your views and opinions, and it's okay to love yourself. And if you don't feel loved, reach out to a friend. We all have somebody. Someone's like, if somebody tells you, I can't talk, that bullshit. You can call someone. You got a coworker. You got a guy you buy your fucking auto parts from. You got a guy at your coffee shop. You got your tattoo artist. You got your bartender, your barber. You got a friend, you know. Someone very close to me says that you're lucky at the end of life to have 5 friends or friends that you can hold on one hand, right?
Yeah.
And I never understood that, because to me, having 5 friends is like, oh, that's it. Life is kind of a dud at that point. But when you go through trials and tribulations in certain lifestyles and you realize certain things about life and how certain people are, you truly understand that that is so true about having 5 good friends in your life. And I feel like I do.
Beautiful.
You know?
So if 9-year-old Adam walked in here right now and looked at you and said, "What the fuck?" What would you say to him?
Why are you swearing? Wow. That it's going to be okay, buddy. And listen to your dad. Because I know he seems like it's hard, and he's hard, but he's trying to save your life. That's why I'd say that, kid.
Beautiful. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Big Adam 604 is my Instagram. Big Adam's Journey is TikTok. Adam Boyd on Facebook.
I'll throw some links in the show notes.
Sure.
All
yeah.
right.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. No. Take good care, my friend.
Yes, this is it's been a beautiful experience, and thank you for the opportunity.
Hold up. If this hit home or made you think, help us get these stories out there. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and before you go, check out another episode. The more you engage, the more the algorithm shares these voices with the people who need to hear them. Big shout out to SEIU West, our official equipment sponsor, improving the lives of working people and their families and leading the way to a more just and humane society. Find their link in the show notes.
Say, this is Hard Knocks Talks.